been a long time. We are happy to be back again on Omega TV UK, #1 TV station in the United Kingdom. Today, our topic is the government doing enough for child welfare in Ghana? I have with me on my right is Mr. Joseph Pansa, who is former Ghana Social Workers Union in the UK, GASU, former president, and he's also a PhD student. Mr. Pansa, how are you?
Thank you, sir. I'm very well, and you too?
Yeah, fine.
I'm pleased that we are back again.
Yes.
Yeah, to let people know what is happening in Ghana in relation to child protection. So a lot will be discussed today for them to know the presenting programs that parents are facing in Ghana, and what potentially the government of the day could do to ameliorate a lot of things that are not going very well. Thank you.
Very interesting program. And also we have Miss Beatrice Asante, prolific bee, the only prolific bee. Beatrice does programs on, is it Mondays or Tuesdays?
Yeah, Mondays. In the evening.
In the evening.
At Omega Live TV, yes.
Are you looking forward to this topic if the government is doing enough?
I'm looking. Yeah, but before we start, I want to thank our viewers for being patient with us, for our viewers giving us the opportunity to stay till we get this studio sorted. And I want to thank my producer before we start. Thank my honorable Kofi, my boss, for real. And to thank everybody for giving us this opportunity to come back to discuss pertinent issues that are actually happening in our motherland, Ghana, and to see how we can actually give them information for them to improve what they're doing, because currently the issues are dire, and we've got a few people that will come on board to actually say what they're going through, and through my boss we'll be able to see the way forward. Thank you. Yeah. And please share before, share. Thank you.
We're looking at what? The experiences of vulnerable children in Ghana.
Precisely.
Which has brought a new challenge for parents, community, and government. And some of these challenges include what? Children who are being used as slaves.
Yes.
Some are being used for forced labor, poverty, physical abuse. One was saying emotional abuse, and then sexual abuse. And then we have poor quality education, as well as certain family and ancestral practices. Kayayo and all that will come in. Teenagers being used that. But my conversation, or our conversation today, is several children that I've spoken to, they don't know where the next meal will be coming from. In the 21st century Ghana we are talking about, they don't know where their next meal will be coming from. Before I come to you, we have someone in Ghana who wants to talk to us, a beggar, a street beggar, who wants to talk to us because he said he doesn't have the time to wait. So we're calling them now, so we can talk to him for about 5-10 minutes before we start the program. I hope it's okay.
That's fantastic.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon. Can you hear me? Please hold on, please. We're trying to reach our journalist in Ghana who is supporting us with this. Can you hear us, please?
Yeah, we can hear you, yeah.
Very good, thank you. I understand you have well done for your good job. You went out in the street. Where are you? Are you in Kumasi, Kejetia, or which part of Kumasi are you?
Yeah, right now we are in Kumasi, Asokwa, where the Moi, Kumasi Moi.
Okay, thank you. Can you find out for us, can the person that we kind of liaising with, they communicate in English, or are you going to translate?
Well, unfortunately, they can't speak the English well, so I have to translate.
Thank
you. You'll be speaking the local language, and I'll be translating it to you.
Thank you. And please, what is their condition? If you can give a brief description of their condition. Why are they in the street? You can find out from them.
Right now I'm with two. Yeah. Right now I'm with two blind men. They are blind. They can't see. So one is being assisted by his child, his 7-year-old child, and one is being assisted by his sister. He's grown up. He's around 28 years. So they are on the street begging for money so that they can provide meal for themselves.
Okay. So we start off with a 7-year-old, he said. Okay. In terms of his routines. Is he in school?
Unfortunately, he's not in school.
Okay.
So he is with the father helping him to beg for money.
So he's not in school and he helped the father beg for money on the street, which is very sad indeed. Okay. Can you find out from him? Can you find out from him how long he have to be on the street, please, in a day?
How long he has been doing what?
No. So, for example, for instance, if he gets up in the morning, what time does he take his dad to the street to beg for money? And what time do they return back? You can ask him for us, please.
Okay, thank you.
Can you let them talk, please? I want the child to talk, please.
Okay. Hello?
Oh, hi. Can the child talk, please? I want the child. Can you ask the child, please, for us?
You want to speak to the child?
Yeah, I want you to ask the child what time they normally leave home.
Okay. Hold on.
Is the child not there?
Yeah, he's around. So I'm talking to him right now.
Yeah, we can't hear.
Yeah.
We want him to talk. Let him talk.
Okay. The name is Odi. So Odi Tabena is a big now. I'm a papel candle. He said that they came from home around 8 a.m. in the morning.
And when they leave home in the morning, 8 a.m., from between 8 a.m. and to the time they go back home, how much money do they normally make?
If we are not back, I'm cooking. That's an idea. Yes, I bet. 26. Well, he said that from the begging, the highest amount can get is 40.
The highest amount they normally will receive is 40 Ghana
40
cedis.
cities and some 20.
And does he,
at the end of the day,
from morning to evening, how many times does he eat? Food.
you can't purposely and February now. Yeah, no problem. No problem. Maybe. Well, he said in the morning they put some porridge on the roadside, maybe Hausa cocoa, and then they will take it in the morning. Then they will come and start work. They will come to start work. In the afternoon, they will take rice around 2. When in the evening, when they get money, when they get enough money, they will start. If not, eat like that.
So if they don't make no money, they go to bed without food. Lord Chief and also Beatrice, I want you to listen to this carefully because we will be coming back to it. If they don't make no money, that means no food. Is that what you are saying, please?
Yeah, let me ask you. One year coming. Where they He said that they don't get money. The fact that has a friend, that's the blind man. He has a friend or some friends. They go to some of his friends and they beg for food.
They beg for
to
food
eat for that day.
Okay. Please, you don't mind when the boy is talking to us to put your phone closer to him for us, please. Thank you, so that we can hear you. The next part is this, that where they are living, does the dad pay rent, or where do they live, and do they pay any rent every month? How do they pay it? The dad can answer that. The dad can answer that.
Then that one, I think the father will be the right person.
Yes, yes.
If you are renting or
put your phone closer to him for us, please. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I'm more rented, and I say one tree, and I say, okay, yeah, behind. They are renting the place that they are.
Okay, so they are renting the place they are. So, without your son taking you out, because your son is not in school, supposing he goes to school, what will happen to you?
They say, Obama and Roko, from the father, he said sometimes he goes to school, but now today is Saturday, he's not going to school, that's why they are here.
Oh, sometimes he goes to school. So if he goes to school, who takes him out? How does he go and make money for the family?
You see, Ada, or local school, or better than how we can have many and number. I will create also if you have the one. Best group now. He said that he on the corner now, one of the school back. Okay, what we will put it. Oh, okay. He said that when the son is in school, he will find someone. He's the same age with the son. And the child will bring him to the street so that they play. And at the end, he'll give the child some money. But it's not the son.
Okay, so it will be another child. You hear that again?
Another child, yeah.
Yeah. How long has he been blind, if you don't mind me asking, please?
If you go say another, go say another, I am in Quantum 10 years ago. 10 years ago. Yeah, we are meeting until this and 10 years ago. Is it 10 years now?
It's been 10 years that you've been in this condition.
Yeah, 10 years now.
Okay. Do you receive any support from social welfare in Ghana in regards to your condition?
When you pass, social welfare, I have my own support you. Yeah, I mean, so baby, almost almost see discovered open to 6 million. Yes, in some case, you play it, cutting up to what city, and oh, yes, now only about 6 p.m. because we need the number one. And then so now I'm a crewman, the meat me. Since 10 years now, I have been blind. He only received 80 penny, even a penny from the government as a support. So,
okay. Thank you very much. Is there anything else that he wants us to know before he goes? I'm also wondering what you're not. You come on what you are now. Yeah. Last word, I think we catch up. Remember, I will hear. Me and more person, now, dear say, what catch you on my say? This year, no, me about what's now. I'm coming, man, school. I just go on now. I hear here, not yet, you meet me, young. I'm a crop. Then, sorry, no more. Be able to suffer me. Your mamma also is not with you.
nti wo de to wabua me a be yama ani ada homa so bi nyina yɛhwɛ na ka kyerɛ wɔn ma me sɛ mmoa no yɛbɛbɔbɔ me no yɛmmɔ me nso sɛ no nsuo koraa gu ɛyima mɛtumi atɔn ane ɔyɛ aba no medi ma no sɛ de nsuo sɔ me mɛtumi ayi ama ada homa kwan bi a ɔbɛfa so a ahotɔ bɛba no ano meyɛpɛ ada homa.
So his last words is that he's pleading to you, through you, to the government, to anyone who is willing to help him to get maybe a shop that he can sell ice water or something so that he can survive. Because during the days when he go out and find money, it's not easy for them because they find it difficult. Sometimes 40 cedis a day, even to get that 40 cedis is not easy, and sometimes nothing. So they are pleading or they are willing to work. If there is work like a shop or something, they are pleading for any help from anyone who is willing to help them. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. And also we thank him very much for his contribution this morning. And through this, we are going to make analysis of it. So we will get back to you. You can see them off, take their details for us, their contact number, and we get back to you. But before they go, my panelists want to ask few things. Yeah, first, Mr. Joseph Kwanzaa, you have something to say about this?
Yes, thank you, Kofi. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, could you find out from them that have they ever contacted social services? Or social welfare?
Social welfare. They say they have been there. They have been there several times, but they have not received any feedback from them, from the office.
So when they went there, what did they say? What did they tell them?
Yeah, my.
I was in Mokoha, or Mr.
Yeah, Kowa, so we can say, yeah, and here be a controlling and Akuma.
When they go to the office, they tell them that they should stop begging on the street, but they don't give any financial support or assistance to them. So they have to go back to the street again and then beg for money. Otherwise, they will not eat or they will not survive.
One just quick question.
Okay. Miss Beatrice Asante would like, thank you, Mr. Joseph Kwanzaa. Miss Beatrice Asante want to ask.
Okay, my question is, how long, when he said he was 10 years, has he ever worked before? And my second question too is, what does he expect the government to help him change for the process to work properly?
Please, can you repeat the question?
Do it one by one.
Okay, so I asked the question that has he ever worked before?
Has he ever worked in his life before? Has he worked? Was he working before he became blind or?
Okay. I've never ever worked before, yeah. Why you do that? Why you do that?
Okay. I do my part now, you prepare, and I agree with CMP. What was some, once the Diana.
He said that he has worked at the CMP before.
Ghana Cocoa Marketing Board. Okay.
Hello.
And then the other
Yes.
person.
Okay.
That time he was not blind.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, and then my second question again was, what does he want for the government to do to make the process work properly for him? What's his expectation?
What do you want from the government?
Yes. You can ask him that, please.
Again, I will press it. I'm going to get my
brother, and the waiting say, upon the more of one, and he may say, many of the not committee, Nank, Yamania, several kills Ganase, steady make us a breathing, and in man crab square, seven big traffic, may I man. I could do so on the back. It is a big apparatus. Being come one now.
That was my question.
See, maybe a more say proton as a diablo video ya link and I'm better say the way I'm thinking about but say yeah my baby number trying to be.
Thank you.
So he said that currently where he's staying is not good. It's not good for him and the son. So if the government can help and find a place for him and also do a shop for him, he can sell ice water or anything to survive.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you all. Thank you for your contribution, and we will be back with you. You can let him go. You can let them go, please. But we will be back with you shortly. Yeah. Thank you. We will call you again. Thank you very much. Thank you for your support. Lord, we'll start with you.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
The experiences of vulnerable children in Ghana, very sadly. Now, this man needs help. He's a blind man. He needs help. And then he's also using a child who also needs to be in education. You know, and then without the child, he's saying that if you don't use that child, you use another child. You know, so, and this is happening everywhere. So, and then there is a number of cases where people don't know where their next meal will be coming from. We are talking about children. So, where do we go? Do you think, the question is, how many people know and understand child protection laws and the rights of children in Ghana? Because this man, he's abusing the child right. He's a vulnerable person, but he's abusing the child rights. Does he know that he's abusing the child? Does he understand children's rights?
Yes, thank you, Kofi. I think the answer is no. A lot of, from my research that I conducted, a lot of parents, professionals don't know that they are, even what laws are governing the survival of children, or how children are going to be careful. I mean, if I put in a perspective, so we have laws all over the world. We have laws within a continent, and we have national laws. These laws are well laid out, and Ghana is a signatory to so many international laws. And the Convention on the Rights of the Child, African Charter of the Child, the 1992 Constitution specified so many things that needed to be done, as well as the 1978 Act that was promulgated. These things have a lot of provisions in them, but unfortunately, the government do not follow them. There is no a national framework. For instance, when I conducted my research about child protection, if there is a national framework stating that X, Y, and Z needs to be done, we cannot have a child at this age taking the father to go to beg. It's not acceptable.
7-year-old.
7-year-old. Just 7-year-old. Not even a young, not a teenager, just a 7-year-old. And that is allowed. Why is it so? And you could see a lot of our politicians or social workers or things going around seeing these children on the street and they just drive past.
Is it only them or the churches, the Muslim community, the Christian community?
Everybody should be able to support. But unfortunately, that's not what's happening in Ghana. And it is so sad that after independence, that we said that we are going to do things better for ourselves. Up to now, nothing is happening in the best interest of a child in Ghana. And that there must be a drastic change. There should be a national policy framework to be able to iron out exactly what can be done to promote the interests of children. Thank you.
Thank you. Beatrice?
Yes. Okay, go on.
Do people understand the rights of children in our country?
I think there's lack of education, and because of poverty, people do not take that into consideration. And the reason why I would say that is because when somebody is hungry and you're telling the person that you cannot take your child out, on what authority are you telling the person not to do that? Because there's no structures laid out for the families or institutions for them to go to. And that was why the question I asked, I think he didn't understand my question. My question was not the help, it was what structures did he feel could be put in place to help the process.
I don't think he's gonna know the structures.
Oh no, what his expectations are. No. You know, you expect
but
that.
They were being brought up trying to feed themselves. They have to.
That is what I'm saying. But you know, everybody says the government is not doing something. Yes. Now, if you want the government to do something, even if we put structures in place, what are your expectations? Because he says for the past 10 years, he's not got anything. Yes? So what I'm saying is, if we are going to help the system work, what is their expectation? Because here we've got a deadline by which things like somebody has to know if we've got books, as you said, we need reforms. Yes? And the reforms is through education. So how do we educate people? How do the departments that are put in place, how are they going to work? Because unless people understand what the processes are, they are not going to adhere to it.
Shall I come in here?
Yes.
Okay, yes, which is, the issue is, like you said, even the professionals themselves, even we social workers in England, we are guided by flames, laws, regulations, guidelines. But if Ghana government does not come out with a framework where professionals will work in consonance with this framework, then there's going to be a problem. So we might even have social workers in post and they don't know what they are doing. They don't know the processes. And I think we'll come back on that one of the things that is also killing promotion of children's rights in Ghana is the quality of social workers we have. My research conducted evidenced that a lot of people who claim to be social workers are actually not what? Social workers.
So now we go back to the education process that I was talking about.
Are you talking about in Ghana?
In Ghana, yes.
Yes.
So you have somebody who have a degree in, let's say, economics.
Yes.
Degree in geography. Then he's working in the Department of Social Welfare.
But whose role it is that to make sure this thing happens? Is it the government or Ministry of Gender and Protection of Social Protection that are not doing their job? Who is not doing the job?
Yes, so the ministry. I think my understanding is that they want to pass a law to regulate the activities of social workers. But when this thing has gone on for so long and nothing has been done. So if you have professionals who claim to be social workers, but they don't know what they are doing, then the child is going to suffer. So it is a hard time that we get our marriages right.
Are parents aware of the right of their children? In the UK or in the Western world, parents knows that if I discipline my child physically,
yes,
I'll be put in trouble.
Yes.
If I send my child out to go and sell, and you know the police, they come into the attention of police, children's services, other agencies, they are in trouble. Schools, they are in trouble. In Ghana, people actually send their 7-year-old out to sell ice water. This man is a blind man. Now he needs help. Now his son also needs help to be in education, to participate. To
be protected.
Fully, yes, in the community. But then he's been sent out to hold his dad to go out and beg. You know, so he's been abused and his dad is being abused. Now in this case, if they have understanding of their rights, do people have understanding? I mean, children are being used for forced labor. Children are being used emotionally, being abused. People are sexually abusing children in Ghana, and they feel that they're not even afraid. Most men are not afraid to approach young girls and abuse them. They're not. They use financial means, other means to do it.
Because there's no accountability.
They understand the right that the child has.
That's what I'm saying, that it's not about understanding. It's about them not being penalized for what they do. There's no accountability. Because if somebody abuses a child, and the parent feels that, this man will pay us monies. Because this issue even came, I had a discussion with somebody about the stars. Like we had Michael Jackson and then we had R. Kelly. And the thing was that, why do they sweep it under the carpet? Because you, the parent, takes your child to that abuser. Yes? Alleged abuse. Okay, they are being prosecuted to that abuser. And then when it comes down, you take money from that person. So in Africa, that is the same scenario, whereby if somebody abuses a child and the person feels I'll get monies, the law is not going to be put in place. Even if the law is in place, they're not going to be held accountable. Do you understand what I'm saying? So even if we've got the framework, we've got the structures, it is making sure that all the departments involved, like the police, like the government, the institutions, plus the parents are held accountable. Okay. So if people feel that they are going to be held accountable, they would adhere to the laws. Because if the mom is arrested for taking monies, yes, and they don't go through the court system to do it legally, and the parent knows that they can be arrested, she will think twice before she does it. If the policeman knows he's not doing his job and he can lose his job, he would adhere to the laws. And if the pedophile or whoever it is that is abusing the child feels that they're going to be held accountable, then they as well would actually respect the law. So the framework is just a little part of the problem. It is whether people are interested or people feel are scared of the process. That is where I stand on that.
Thank you, Beatrice. Yeah, and you are perfectly right. I think some of these things boil down to financial constraints. Yeah. For instance, if a mother sees that the mother is struggling, that her child has been abused, and then this some well-to-do person comes and says, "Okay, forget about everything. I'm going to give this extra amount of sex," they will accept it. For instance, on the contrary too, for somebody who is economically sound in Ghana, a middle-class person, seeing that her child has been abused, will never accept any bribe. The police will have to be out to be involved.
Is it because people are accepting bribe because the processes in terms of
don't
it's
work.
not there.
They don't work.
We don't have a structure, and people understanding of child welfare is limited.
They understand it. It's just that there's no accountability. This is what I keep saying. Understanding something and knowing that you're going to be persecuted for that is two different things.
Well, so where does this blind man, if this blind man don't have the children helping him to go in the street, then he is also going to be starving. So
now what he does is
he's not getting no support from no one.
And that's where the government, that's what we're talking about when my honorable man said that if we had framework, yes, whereby the government took care of this man, that there was monies that he was getting, he was in a place that he felt that he didn't need to go out. Those are how the framework works. But if there's no framework, then we are back where we are. So knowing it and not having any resource but recourse, because as you said, as you heard him say, he said they send, when they go to these departments, they tell them not to go out. But if he doesn't go out, he doesn't survive.
Yes. So is this the cause of an increase in child abuse cases in Ghana? Because now it's on the
There's no structure and there's no accountability.
There's a number of displaced children in Accra, Kumasi, on the street. They are begging everywhere. So whose responsibility is it then?
It is. It is the government, and the reason why I say that is
don't the people also have a responsibility themselves?
I say it's the government because they come in to bring policies to say that when we get elected, and this is not a political thing, this is a factual thing.
Yes.
When Labour comes, Labour says, okay, I'm going to make sure that there's school feeding. I can make sure that kids they've got the right nutrition. We've got kids that they are under we are under the poverty level. We make sure that they've got breakfast and they've got free school meals and all that stuff. Yes. Now these are the same policies that any party that is in Ghana comes in, says that, this is some of what we intend to do. But the moment they come, they don't do it. This is why I'm saying that. So we don't penalize, and this is not to a specific government. This is to anybody that says, I am going to make sure that the kids are protected. Make sure that anybody that you employ or you put in a department, you rate them on their skill set, and then you have them account or you do reports to sustain that. But if a minister comes and then the moment they get their job, they are sitting somewhere in the US. A minister comes, they're in UK and their kids are abroad. How can they actually work for the betterment of the country?
Yeah, and I do agree with you that it's unfortunate that manifestos are always shrined.
Thank you. It was a manifesto that I forgot.
Yes. Shrine in their during campaigns. And
that's it.
But then when they come, it doesn't happen. I mean, to some extent, it's a credit to Nana Akufo-Addo for the free education that he has been able to implement to some extent. My understanding is that there has been some presenting issues about the implementation, but on the whole, some people couldn't have gone to secondary school without this sort of implementation. Nevertheless, when we come to which we are very much bothered, like this boy, where is the support? Where is the government doing? What is social services doing? So, like I said, is there any framework? But through my research, there is a limited amount of framework. For instance, in one of the departments that I visited, when a parent comes to the department, comes with an issue of, let's say, like abuse or like rape, they will connect to what we call the DOSWA, the Domestic Violence Victim Support Unit in Ghana. They will go through the process. At times, they have to take the case to court. But when they get to court, the issue is the child who has been abused, there's no provision for even the child to be taken away from their parents. Because the question, one of the social workers was saying that if you have to remove this child from the parents' care, who's going to care for the child? So they have to still leave this child in the care of their parents. In this country, it will not happen like that. I mean, you cannot do comparative analysis between Ghana and the United Kingdom. But we have to start somewhere. Yes. And that is where we are lacking. So you're back to the issue as people know they are right. To some extent, no, because the things that are happening and then the government not able to help means that people actually cannot help. They are just powerless. There's nothing they can do, either from the government or from the people. But in your capacity as a government, you have to come with cogent policies so that the people who are working with them will be able to implement them.
Okay, you know something, sorry, host. He made it governmental and he praised a system that is not functioning. I do appreciate that you say that Nana Akufo-Addo, I really didn't want to go down that route, but because you kind of, I'm going there with you. You cannot start a process that doesn't work. Because, you know, when Mahama, JM, decided that he wanted to do this free education, he wanted to do it gradually. Because in this country, as parents or as a household, for your kid to qualify for a grant, yes, they look at your wages and they look at the wages, and then that is when you end up seeing whether you are qualified.
Means tested.
Thank you. But what Nana Akufo-Addo was, he just threw, they didn't do any risk assessment because I do project management. That was what my master's was in. And you do your risk assessment. You check whether it is feasible in the long term. That's what we call sustainability. Yes? So far, we've got loads of kids that they go to school 3 months, then they come and sit at home. Another set goes. That is not sustainable. There are kids that are screaming that we don't even get any food. I've got people that I know that when I'm talking to them in Ghana, they say that this free school thing is even worse off because when they go to PTAs, and they expect to find out the grade of the child, they're telling them that the water tank broke or this broke. So they're actually spending more monies that if they had actually given them school fees, yeah, they would have been better off. But now this school, they said they don't see it as free because it's costing them more for the kids to go, and they're not even getting the nourishment. Even we've got people that they feed their children, yeah, that they say for years they've not been paid. Do you understand me? So when people are saying that, oh, kids are going to school, how does any government feel that this is successful? A kid going to school and the class is overrun, yes, it's not successful. A kid going to school and not knowing, yes, that I'm going to eat, or a parent worrying that this free thing is costing me more money, or if my kid goes to school, the kid that, if it's like summer term, like everybody goes to school, like you got the first semester, you got the second semester. They alternate so much that the parents have to pay tutors to pay the kids when they are home 3 months. Yes, the kids that their parents let their sisters have to take care of them. Most of them either have gone to school. So the parents are saying that it's costing them left, right, and center. So you see, sometimes I keep saying that I'm Ghanaian first. It doesn't matter who I support. Do you understand me? Until we are rule of ourselves, we cannot actually have progress. So when somebody says, oh, this, yes, You can put an idea in place.
No,
I'm saying that you can put an idea in place.
Can I come in? Can I briefly?
So that will come under your
Yes.
your answer as well, Lord Chief.
Yeah, because you had an
The thing is,
opportunity to speak that.
This abuse that has been going on over the years has become what? The sins of our fathers. It has become something that from generation to generation, government after government,
That's it.
children have been abused.
That's it.
They are in the street. It's very sad.
Yes.
They are in the street every day, sleeping rough, eating from rough places.
Getting raped.
Adults abusing children sexually.
That's it.
And everything. Has this become the sins of our fathers? Is this the reason why we as a country, we are experiencing so much difficulties that we don't know our left and right?
Precisely.
Thank you. Right. My learned friend, I think maybe what I said, you didn't get it.
I did.
Yeah. What I was trying to say that there have been some extent. That doesn't mean that it's absolutely successful.
Thank you.
You're right.
I do appreciate
yeah, so
humanity.
what I was saying is that there have been some successes, but there are some still presenting issues about this implementation.
But you made it sound very mild.
Well, I mean, like I said, if you look at the statistics, more children are going to secondary school than prior to this program.
Yes.
However, there are some issues.
There's no continuity.
Yeah. I mean, it's like that in any walks of life, you know. Anything you do will have it. You have intended and unintended consequences.
But that's why risk assessment is there.
Okay, hold on, Beatrice. There are intended and unintended consequences. It's after you've started the implementation that you know the pros and cons, and then you have to iron out where things can be improved. Even here in the United Kingdom, there are certain policies that the government will bring. It doesn't work. They will either abolish it, improve it, or leave it like that because they can't do otherwise. So all what I was trying to say was that I'm not saying that Nana has absolutely been successful in implementing the free education. There are some problems, and one of them is what we are now discussing. Why can't a 7-year-old child go to school?
Yes, sir.
Why are children being raped and still on ascendancy?
Yes, sir.
Why is this so? And that's why I come back to my argument that the national framework, where is it? Who is implementing it? What are the quality of professionals doing it? And I was very, very crestfallen when I heard that somebody with geography, master's in degree in geography is deemed as a social worker in Ghana. That can never happen. Basically, he does not even know what he's doing. So how can he help this poor person?
No,
actually can.
No, hold on.
With that,
I think your focus is going on
The qualification.
Then the role. But however, hold on. Here, the structure is in place.
There's no structure in the first place.
That's it.
And then we don't even have the quality.
But then,
so double whammy here.
The citizens, I think we have lost focus as citizens in Ghana. The reason being is like, before they vote a government into power, there are measures that people have to see. But people are voting for who they feel they have allegiance with.
Or who will give them monies.
That's it. Rather than who will make
the long-term vision.
Irrespective of which government is in power.
Precisely. That I agree.
What the people need is who is meeting the needs of children. The children
and when they
our
come,
future,
no,
our
but
generation, our future. The future of Ghana is the children. And these children, the same children, people are going to work. I have seen it in Ghana. People are going to work, living 7, 8 years, 9 years old at home the whole day. They're going to work. They're leaving them with people who may even present as risks. They are not feeding them, asking children to go and look for their own food. A whole lot is happening, and it's still happening. My question is, where do we go? Because it's getting worse and worse. I spoke to UNICEF, and what they are saying is that the number is increasing and increasing. On Friday, I spoke to them. What they are saying is it's going up.
But as you said, you made a point, and the reason I was trying to sort of like interject was I didn't want to forget what I wanted to say. What I was saying is, you say you're asking a question. Then where do we go from here? Where we go from is that whoever is elected to lead the country, the policies, people should remember that they're voting them in, so they're supposed to work for them. But one thing that I'm realizing is, as you say, because people have got alliance and people are voting based on financial coercion and stuff. They are not holding these people that they put in place to actually work for them and make sure that the processes or any framework that is put there works. So the way forward is, if they had a framework whereby somebody comes into a department, we give you 3 months, you do not actually reach that potential of what your government or the manifesto says, then you kick them out. But in Ghana, we don't have that. So somebody can stay there, and that's why I made an inference that somebody gets a position and then goes and stay in America or go to UK. So then how can you do your job?
My one is this. You receive IMF loan, for instance.
That's it.
And they put conditionalities
on it in place.
Okay. These conditionalities, they could be in terms of children welfare.
That's it.
That they have to measure. And I think that these people, do they have interest in Africa?
No.
Per se, or in Ghana?
They don't.
Because the condition of children is getting worse and worse. You have a child who may travel from Kumasi, and parents may say they don't want them at home, may end up in Accra, in the streets and sleeping rough. Now, if you go circle night time, I'm not sure if any of you have been there recently. It's night time. This is where they sleep. If it rains,
in front of the shops,
they're all running and finding somewhere for cover. They're all sleeping rough. How this is increasing crime in our country. This is increasing in terms of health in our country. And the other one is even children getting ill, going to hospitals where they're not being looked after because they don't have money to be taken care of. Or free NHIS does not cover certain illnesses, so their illness may not be covered, so they will not be seen. These are all the things that is affecting children in our country, Lord Chief, that we need a way forward around it.
Okay, yeah. I feel budgets of extravagance should be cut. As you say, if we have people driving lavish cars, we've got people like certain allowances given to all these ministers, any government, they should cut it. Do you understand me? Because when you look at ministers here, you see Boris on a bike. You don't see him with a cascade of cars. You don't see him with people, entourage and all those stuff.
How does that got to do with the protection of children? We will be back. We're having a short break, producer. We'll be back shortly. Thank you.
Okay. You said how do we what we're going to do as we were talking, the question that you asked me, how we're going to do that, the question that I actually did say, the reason why with me I'm going on about this thing is
go on, yeah.
Okay, with me the reason why I'm saying that is when you cut the budget, then you have extra monies. You have extra monies that you can use for these, because if you've got extravagant cars, you've got extravagant like dress allowance, petrol allowance, all those stuff, yes, those monies can go into protecting the vulnerable in the community, but they're the ones that need it. Because you that you're working, you are fit enough, because if you're working, you're fit enough to go to work, to be able to make money. These are blind people, these are kids that they can't go to school. You see, these are the things that you can do, because if you're looking at cutting all these stuff and you're able to do it, then you can move the money. They say you can move the money from one end and put it in a place whereby now you can train good social workers. Because as you said, when you talked about when you talked about the qualification, there are people that in this country, they are from a different qualification aspect, whereby because of the right training can be a good social worker. So sometimes it's not everybody it's not what you learn.
Yeah, but one thing is, for here, before you can practice as a social worker, you should have a social work degree.
Okay.
And that's my worry, that if you have people who are acting as social workers.
Yes.
And then they don't know, they have not been trained as social workers. What can they do to help the poor child? That's my worry.
Okay.
And then back to the issues about the way the government is spending money.
Unnecessary, yeah.
Which is, the most important thing is the focus. Is the government having a policy and procedure to protect the vulnerable children. If that is something that the government is actually interested in, I guess there might be something that the parliament will be discussing, it will be passed in law, and then they will focus on. But there's no sort of a strategy or a framework that is that in Ghana.
Do you agree that by cutting those expenditures, yeah, would help for them to get extra monies to help the vulnerable?
Why not? I do agree with you.
Okay.
But even by cutting them, okay,
yes.
How are you going to spend that money on children?
That's what I'm saying, that you put, that's what I said, that the framework, sometimes before you put a project in place, you find out where your monies are going to come from. You're going to see what you're going to, so you look at the places where you can cut, yes?
Yes.
And then you can say, okay, so if we cut this department, if we cut this department, then we can put the money towards this. Then, once you've done that, then you work on the processes.
That's right.
Wouldn't that be viable, though?
Yes, and obviously, child protection as well as child care is very expensive. Even in this country, it's very, very expensive.
Yes.
So if, even in our national budget, I don't know what percentage goes into child care in Ghana. I don't think. I know that there is a disability leap, a small amount of money which is given to disabled children. That's very limited. But if we are going to look into the welfare of children in Ghana, the vulnerable children, there should be a proper budget for it, a proper framework supported by a proper budget to be able to do that. Other than that, we'll be in this situation forever and ever.
I think that it has reached a stage in our country whereby we need to bring in the West to it. I'm saying this in the sense that this vulnerable children situation has gone on over the years with no progress. So I feel that for us to make any progress, we will have to plead to the West that when they doing businesses with us, when they're doing things, there should be laws with children welfare in it, which then will bring those possible changes for us. I mean, this has been going on. We will do a special program, the life of a member of parliament and the life of a disabled
Thank you. That would be brilliant.
Ghana.
Yes.
This program will be our next program that we will do in 2 weeks' time. Yeah, fortnight, because we're doing fortnight program.
As a comparison.
Yes, as the life of an MP. So if you are MP in Ghana,
watch out.
You have to know that we'll be talking about this, and
yes.
we may show your lifestyle.
Yes.
The houses you live in.
Where your kids go to school.
Yes, where your children go to school. Your family. Even some of
the allowances you get.
Some of them, their children are even here in the UK and other Western parts educating. Now, when they look at the life of a disabled child, how do they see it? Begging in the street of Accra, going from car to car, moving around on this. How do they go to bed and sleep? How, when they are eating at their table, do they think that I am eating here? What is these people on the street eating? When you are in your house, comfortable house sleeping, do you think where they are sleeping? But it's not only them. Let's look at the Christian Council. What are they doing? The Ghana Christian Council, they know about these things. What are they doing? Muslims, leaders, chief imams, and all everywhere in the Ghana, they know about these things. What are they doing? Traditional Council, what are they doing? These people, they are all in their houses eating, and these young people are in the street. The government sitting at the Flagstar house, comfortably, sleeping with more security, with young people in the street. What are they doing to help them? Do the limitation of your life, what makes one's life to say that we have done something for our country,
very pertinent,
make a difference to these people, then we will all be able to say, yes, they have done something to make a difference. So if you are a member of parliament, irrespective of your party affiliation, and you are not making a difference in your community for these vulnerable children, and you see people begging in the street in your area, you see people picking food from the street in your area and eating, then they have all failed them.
You're right. And not to cut you, I was just reading. They said there was no framework. I printed out some stuff, and they said the formal child, and this is by the UNICEF mapping analysis of Ghana Child Protection System, 2011. Yeah? I'm just going to read certain portions of it so that we don't become redundant. It says the Child Act assigns responsibility of care and protection of children to the district assembly. Yeah? Whilst investigation into controversies of children's rights are assigned to the Department of the Social Welfare and the Community Development. Okay. They also said that the districts are also expected to establish child panels to mediate matters on the rights of the child as mandated by the Children's Act. Do they actually do that? Because we're talking about framework.
Yes. So
we've got that in writing, and this is what I just read. So we do have a framework. So are they doing it? So as Kofi Mabel said, how if they're sitting there and they are sleeping? Because before you came into Parliament, these are the things that has been put there. It's kind of like the Bible. They said, "Thou shalt not kill." So these are the stuff that is there. Are they implementing it? Because reading through all these stuff, they don't need a new framework. They just need to adhere. Do you understand me?
Yes.
So what is there already? So it's not you're not inventing that. You're not reinventing the wheel.
But is the framework working?
That is what I was saying. That so it's not about this now shows that it's more about implementation.
And how is it not being implemented?
You tell me.
The question is,
yes.
If we actually we have a skeleton like that, as we have read,
yes,
how is it being implemented, and who are implementing it? And that boils down to my issue, which you think I'm focusing on is, are the right people implementing this? Do they have the professional acumen or skills?
Why don't you sell yourself to the government? Just go on, Lord Chief. You've been a student in social work. You've been a social worker for over the years, and you are ready to serve.
Yes, if they call me,
with a good wage, with a good wage, it's not for free.
If the government takes me as a consultant, I will serve.
With a good wage,
irrespective of which government, I will serve.
That's what I'm saying. With a good wage, you're not even saying that because you end up they'll give it to you for free.
So my worry is how things are now. And even though thanks for reading that framework, which to me is a framework, but it's not a framework because it's not being implemented. And if we are saying that things need to be done in the right way, then we should have the right people. We should have the right focus. The department, the ministry, is the ministry doing the right thing? And to the best of my knowledge, it's not.
No.
You go there.
We have Barrister Linda, but go on. Linda, give us 1 minute, please. Just 1 second. Yes.
Yeah. Sure. Thank you. If this skeleton framework that you've just read is there, why is it not being implemented? Is it because of finances? Straight to the best of my knowledge, is yes. Do we have the right people to execute this policy? To the best of my knowledge, is no. So we have to change the direction of how child protection is being implemented in Ghana. Thank you.
Okay. Barrister Linda, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Yes, we have a few things that we want to know in terms of the legal framework. A number of young people are in the street in Ghana. They don't know where their next meal will be coming from. Their parents, we did have a blind person who was on the phone with us, and what he was saying is that he normally goes out with his son, and his son, who is 7 years old, will lead him to be begging in the street. If they make money, they eat. If they don't make money, then it's difficult. They have to also nighttime make other arrangements by going to knock people's doors for begging to enable them to get food to eat. Their situation is very critical, and we have a number of young people like that. Now the question is for us is that many people know. Do many people know and understand child protection laws and the rights of children in Ghana? And in terms of the legal framework, where are children when we talk of abuse in Africa? Or in Ghana, sorry, in Ghana. Barrister Linda, are you there? Yeah, thank you.
I'm here. I'm listening to you. Thank you, everybody. It's an important topic, I think, for us, which is why once in a while we keep coming back to it. Try and remind ourselves that children are the focus, and the reason why children are the focus is because they are the future.
Yes.
It is the children who are growing up to be us. So we have to make sure we give them the right tools in order for them to be able to grow and flourish in the society. So that when they become adults, they become valuable members. Yeah? So I don't know whether it's been said already, but if we go back to the break, which is 1998, part one of the act talks about the rights of the child. And it also talks about the duties of the parents. It has to start with the parents. Before we start talking about government and everybody else, your immediate responsibility as a parent is to the child. You don't have children just for the sake of having children. You have to ensure that you obey the law and understand what your duties and responsibilities are to that child. Okay? So, of course, a child, as most of us should know, is somebody under the age of 18. And as with the UK law, Ghana law says that the best interest of the child shall be paramount to any matter concerning a child. So what is good for the child must be at the forefront of everybody's mind.
You have some background, Linda, your thing is having some background reception or something. It's making some noise.
No, wait, hang on a second. Let me see if I can get your background.
No.
Okay.
You know, we can't hear you properly. So what we do is we will come back to you. Yeah. If you sit somewhere different or somewhere different, please. Thank you.
No problem.
Oh, it sounds better now. Try it and let's see.
Okay, well,
Yeah, it's better.
It doesn't stop me. Yeah?
Yeah, it's better. Thank you.
These interests are paramount. And so we have to put the children
No, Linda, we will get back to you. Sorry.
No
The
problem.
reception. Thank you. We experiencing
Some technical
difficulties with Linda. We try our colleague in Ghana, who may help us with some issues in Ghana.
Hello.
Oh, hi. Hello. We will not be mentioning your name for the reasons of
anonymity.
Yes, and confidentiality. So we're not going to be saying your name or mentioning your name. How are you, sir?
I'm fine, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, you have some good understanding of social welfare. You've been a social work student and you're now working with the Ghana Ministry of Gender Protection, Social Welfare. So you have some understanding of it. What is your understanding of what we were discussing with the blind man and a person and his son? Hello?
Hello.
What is your understanding? Their understanding in terms of their daily living, their experiences that they go through on a daily basis. They go out and they beg for food. And what does the department do to protect these people? I understand that sometimes they go out and tell them to be out, get them out of the street. But does that come with support?
Yeah. Thank you for the question. It's true that the government is trying to take them from the street, especially those begging. But it seems there's no government support, like any financial support to keep them. So we find it difficult to eradicate them totally from the street. When you decide them, they will come back, because when they don't come, they will not eat. So they have to come back, and the government is not bringing any financial support or money to be given to them, or any means of business for them. So that is how they live. And in Ghana, people see it as a normal thing for someone to beg on the street.
So the government, Lord Chief, you hear here. So please don't go, stay. The government want people out in the street because
want them not to be in the street.
Yeah, he wants them not to be in the street. Now, the question is this: but however, there is no support to support them. So therefore, you send people out to get them up, tell them not to be around, and warn them and things like that. They go. But how are they going to live?
Yeah, so there's no, like I said, there's no framework. There's no chain of events. For instance, you say that they can't beg. So if you're asking, and I'm sure from our
previous scholar.
Yeah. And then the basic understanding of life. Necessity is the mother of what? Invention.
Yeah.
If you are in a dire need of something, you use every means
To try and survive.
To survive. Survival instincts. So the mere fact that you ask social workers or support workers to go on the street and ask them to go home without giving anything for them to survive on, they will come back. So if this situation can be eradicated, like the Cora used the word, then there should be a system in place. Okay, we are asking you not to come here. Go to social services. We're going to provide this sort of support allowance for you, or we're going to provide you a means to be able to survive. If you don't provide any system of survivorship, or people to be
any
able
resource for them
to be able to
survive,
live, you cannot do anything.
Is the social welfare acting illegally by asking these people to be off the street without supporting them?
Okay, I'm going to read this. It says, the reason why I brought this documentation is to show that Ghana has got stuff. There's one part that says, child and family welfare services are generally informed by narrow interpretation of the child's best interest, which tends to consider a child as an individual and a district from a family. Although some counseling and parenting education is available, formal family strengthening strategies are limited. So now we go to the fact that if these are limited, even for the process, how can they go? It's kind of like me sending you out to go and buy, let's say, tomatoes. And then when I'm giving you 20p and the tomato is 39p, you're not going to be able to buy it and you're going to come back. So this is where we're at, that telling them to do something with no resource given, we're not going to have an achievement. So this is why I say the accountability. It's not there. What I'm saying, does it make sense to you?
Yes. And then all these things, how can we improve things? There should be a policy. There should be a way out. I mean, the ultimate is the parliament, which they make the laws and the regulations. The minister who is ever in charge should be able to look at the problems and then make proposals, come out with policies.
But the policies are here.
No,
these are stuff that they've written down, but they're supposed to read it. These are there.
But so, if they are not working, I mean, these policies as they are not working. If it's not working, then we have to change the approach. Yes, we have to change the strategy.
Okay, let's.
It's good that you've read that. Thank you, my learned friend. But is it working? If for financial constraints, it's not going to be work, then look at the traditional way, because before even the advent of colonialism, our people were surviving. The traditional systems were working. All these things are now they are all broken down. For instance, in my research about the kinship care, for instance, despite that the problems are still there, families are still looking for after their families. And that is something we talk about in later on.
Yes.
So if the policy you've developed based on the 1992 Constitution, I'm sure these things have
This is 2011, yeah.
But I mean, within the 19th Constitution, all these things, assemblies, the units and all that came into being. They were charged with the responsibility of doing all these things. But they are not working. Then we have to change the strategy.
Okay, let's go back to our caller. Caller, are you there? Hello? Hello? I think we lost our caller. We call him again.
Okay.
See, while we're waiting for
him to call back.
Yeah, he's here. Hello?
Okay.
Hello? Can you hear us?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So, in this regard, the role of social welfare in terms of these children in the street, apart from that, what else does your team do to, in terms of policy, to support these children? You get them out of the street. What about when a child, let's give an example. Now, a child is being sexually abused. In cases like that, how do you go on about it?
Yeah, on abuse cases, the first step is we report the case to doctor.
Okay.
South Sudan, the domestic violence victim support unit. It's a unit that works under the police department in Ghana.
Okay.
Yeah, so we report some cases to them on the abuse cases, and the abuse cases is a criminal case. And social welfare, we don't grant arrest. You can't arrest the culprit. So the judge has the power to grant for arrest or request for arrest. If only the abuse case is really serious, the culprit will be arrested. Are you following me, sir?
Yes, we are.
Your network.
Yeah, so, hello?
Hello.
Is it okay? The network is okay?
Yes, it's...
Okay, can I update on this one?
Yes.
Because I know I've had a discussion.
We will come back to you because of the network. Yeah.
Okay, right. I've done my research on this one. So in Ghana, the process is this. When a child is abused and is reported, if he goes to the social services, they will liaise with the DOSWA, the Domestic Violence Victim Support Unit. They will go then, depend on the severity of the issue, that person will be, they follow the full rigors of the law. If they need to charge them and take them to court for the person to be prosecuted. But the question now is, how effective is the implementation of these processes? Are the rapists being given the right sentences? What is happening? That children are still continuing to be abused. I know even in this country, despite all these rigorous laws, children are still anyway abused. But the rigors of the law should be able to deter people from doing it. So that's how it's placed in Ghana, that as soon as the case is reported, the social worker whose the case is allocated to will liaise with the police unit and then follow the due process of the law, like the process, like what we do here, where a child is abused, we liaise with, but they don't have the processing like the section 47 that we will do, or we will take the case to child protection conference and all that. They don't have that process. So what the difficulty there is that when the child is abused, whether the parents are aware or not, they look at the situation and they still return the child to the same parent again, because they don't have foster placement or where to take the child to, and then they continue to abuse this child. So that's an issue.
Okay, but as I was reading, I know the reason why I'm bringing up this reading thing is I'm quite surprised. They say the caseload of social welfare officers are dominated by child custody and maintenance disputes, consuming most of their time. So they're saying that 49% of the cases are closed. Yeah. Due to, that was in 2009. Yeah. This was due to the Child's Right Promotion and Protection Program of DSW related to child maintenance cases, which is that DOSWA thing that you're talking about. Yeah. The case loads are equally dominated, by disputes and Commission of Human Rights and Administrative Justice. So it makes it difficult as well for certain implementation of the laws, because there are certain laws that conflict. So now, no, I'm just saying that what they've put down here, I'm talking about what they've put down here.
It's not even working. Child welfare is not working.
That's my thing. And they're saying too that they've got 2 points of entry, which is the Child and Family Access, Child Family Welfare Services, and the police. So now, as you've rightly said, yes, how, as I always keep saying, that how do we change the narrative? Because sometimes talking about it, we care, but the people that they're getting their monies, the ministers that they've put in place, or the people or the departments that are supposed to be overseeing it, are they being held accountable? This is where I still go back, because we can talk from here to Christmas and then nothing happens, because if people feel I'm not going to lose my job, they're still going to do the same thing over and over again. So now the government, whoever, and that's what I'm saying, that I'm Ghanaian first, yes? How do we change that flipping narrative? I know I'm not supposed to be swearing on TV, but I am so passionate that seeing a child being beaten, being raped by a grown man, and the country, the ministers are driving past and waving and all those stuff, and their kids are tucked safely in bed. If they lost their jobs and they ended up on the street, yes, or if they had a motive would they, that notion, would they actually change what they're doing, or would they continue to do what they're doing?
In 1990, Ghana became the first country in the world to ratify the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Children. A generation later, we have become one of the highest countries with child abuse cases. We have a number of children in the street begging with no answers to them. So where do we go? Where we go is that next 2 weeks, with a fortnight time, we'll be having a program. And that program will be very interesting. And we want our viewers to note it down, to be very interesting. It's a program where we will say that members of parliament and our MPs in Ghana, their lifestyle, and then the lifestyle of a disabled child. We will talk about it. So if you are MP, watch yourself. We may be coming, as we say.
Oh, we're not maybe, we're coming.
We are coming. Now, Lord Chief, let's get to our final words in terms of protection of children in Ghana and what we have gone through, what we have heard from a blind person and his son. Sadly, it was heart-touching. And a generation later, we find ourselves that what has been going on from I was a child to today is the same thing still going on with no difference. Our leaders, community leaders, individuals, families, parents have all failed vulnerable young people. We was having a conversation before this about a child with disability, where years ago in Ghana, before you know these children, you will see families having them, and the next thing they go missing, nowhere to be found, with no proper investigation. Is this what has caused the sins of our fathers for us? That Ghana, no matter what we do, we are struggling. With IMF loan, no conditionalities for children. The children are still the same place, begging. I was in Accra, and I have to come out of my car. See, a young person, about 6 years old, crawling on the street to reach to get money.
To beg.
In a dangerous situation. Police are standing there and looking, and they just look and turn. The situation is crisis. And if you send these people away, like our caller was saying, without any support, then where did they go? But every Saturday, we see our chiefs in Ghana having clothes on, putting, if it's a gold or fake gold, we don't know, whatever it is, with this no support. They are in their house eating and doing well with no support. You see our pastors standing in churches and praying and preaching to the people, getting all sorts of money, living in big houses with the same children there. You see our ministers, the same situation with these children begging in the street, going on, the same situations. Governments, the same situation. Imams, Muslim leaders, the same situation. Where do we go with this? I think it has come to a critical time that every Ghanaian needs to reflect and think back that the problems the country is facing is for our inability to open our eyes and have insight of these children's needs. We have neglected, the whole country has failed when it comes to child protection of children. And the Ministry of Gender and Protection of Children needs to focus and make it a priority and appeal to the world that it has come to the time that we need that help. It has come to the time that they say, hands up. I don't have the experience to do this. Please bring in the right person for us and let them come and do it for us. Because as a country, we don't have the knowledge and skills to eradicate this. We need training. We need help. Come in and help us. It has come to the time. Lord Chief, you're a PhD student. You have heard everything I've said. Where do we go from here?
Okay.
PhD in social work.
Thank you.
You've done very well.
Thank
So
you.
where do you go?
Thank you. Yeah, in my closing analysis, I think we are far where we are going. Nobody knows where we are going for success. But upon the deliberations and discussions that we have made, and prior to my coming, I made my own conclusions about something that the government, the ministry in particular, should be aiming at to be able to improve things. One, the policy framework. Thank you for reading what we have over there. Is it working? If it is not working, then we have to change the strategy. Two, there should be a license for social workers to practice. At the moment, there is no license. Everybody can call him or herself as a social worker because they don't understand the tenets of social work, the fundamentals. They need to improve the welfare of children. The welfare of every child is of paramount consideration. And if you don't understand that norm, you cannot practice or improve anything. There should be foster placements so that when children cannot live with their parents, at least they can get a home to go and live. There should be workshops for social workers to upgrade their skills. Child maintenance procedure should be streamlined. So when a parent or a father is not making sure that his child or children are being fed, there should be a process to dealing with that. And in relation to the my understanding is community social services. We have the community development and then the social welfare. I'm just wondering whoever heads social department should be somebody who has the basic professional skills to be able to head it. In relation to abuse processes that we experience, the police should continue to do their work in a way that it's minimizes things for the safety and well-being of children. That's where I'll conclude with.
Thank you, Lord Chief.
Okay, I believe with right training and with right policies and with the right heads and the right experiences, I do not feel that we don't have the skill set. I feel it's the complacency and the lack of accountability that makes people do what they do. Because we sat here, we're social workers, we take monies, previous programs, that they give somebody a little bit of money and the social worker take their cut out of it. So with me, I'm not holding up my hands up because the Western world are not going to make us comfortable. Because by making us comfortable, then that means they still continue to dominate us. Why do we not pull ourselves from the trenches? Because you're educated, you've got friends at the social workers, you've got a PhD, but yes, still, if you go there and you're implementing it, what normally is going to happen is, let's say that you put a program in place, somebody is going to feel, oh, this man is going to take what I'm taking. So the process too, so I'm not holding my hands up that we can't do it. It's whether the people that will allow the right people with the right qualifications to come in. Because they'll say, oh, this is how we do it here. So when you're doing it the right way, you get penalized for it. So we want a framework that people are not going to be penalized. People are going to be allowed. So if we decide that we've got social workers here, they're going to get the right wage, the decent wage, to be able to go and help implement it in our country. They will get the freedom to do it, but not penalized. So with me, I don't put my hands up. We can do it. We just don't want the people to stop us from doing it. And that is my word, yes.
And finally, what I would say is, of all these discussions that we've done, the government, it boils down to the government, and everything is finances. The finance minister should be looking at, devoting some money to the children's services for all these things to be implemented. At least there should be a percentage of the national budget going to social services to support vulnerable children. Other than that, you go to social workers department, and at times what I'm told is that they have to even get money from the parents who are coming to complain about what is happening to them. There should be it should be properly financed. And if it's properly financed
and regulated
and regulated and well audited, the welfare of children could be improved in Ghana.
Thank you. It's been a very long journey. The story of a Ghanaian child, a vulnerable child. I mean, there's a number of children in Ghana. Some have lost their parents. A number of children in Ghana, some have lost their parents. Some are children vulnerable in the sense that they've been abused, either emotionally, physically. They've been abused in so many different ways. Their voices has been hidden by the society that we live in. Our so-called leaders who are supposed to protect these children are also sitting on the children. We are appealing to them that it's time that children's voices are heard. It's time that their sustainable wishes and feelings are known. So that, because they are our future, the future of Ghana is with these children. And if we are starving this future, if we are giving them a very bad beginning, a rough journey, how are they going to be fit to manage the country for us in the future? This is the question for everyone. What are you doing to make a difference for these vulnerable people? Thank you very much, Producer Joe Baby, Sister Danswa, Mr. Joseph Kwanzaa, and also Beatrice Asante, and also Mr. Oloa. I'm very sad and I feel like crying.